Go. All right. So welcome back. We are back here again live from the grocery shop floor. We are live streaming on behalf of OmniTalk Retail, courtesy of Upshop, Firework, and Upside. And joining me to my left are two of my favorite people from Upshop. Again, the CEO, Shamus Hines, joining us for the second time today. And we also have Steve Paro, the Chief Product Officer at Upshop as well. Steve, how are you doing today?
Special guest star.
Yes, special guest star. We'll find out. Yeah. Jury's still out, man. Jury's still out. Don't get cocky, as Han Solo used to say. But yeah, why don't we start out, Shamus? Why don't you start? You met with Ann earlier. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make that because I was on stage. But tell us a little bit about what Upshop is and what it does.
So Upshop, we are a software company. We work with grocery retailers. We work with convenience stores. We're all around operations. So we've got store operations software that helps with efficiencies, and it's within now every single department of the store.
Got it. And how are you guys finding the show so far, Steve?
Yeah, it's great to be back. Really excited this year. Kind of a full normal year, right? I was back last year, and it was still a little touch and go.
Right? Were you here last year? You were here?
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I was.
Nice.
But yeah, so far so good. Really looking forward to the next couple of days and all the content and making connections out on the floor.
How about you, Shamus?
Yeah, been great. Your segment was
yeah.
Very
Did
nice.
You come? Yeah. All right. Thanks for that plug. Thanks, man. Thanks.
That was the best.
Thanks. Now you guys had some big announcements too, right? Like you guys had some big announcements. Why don't you share with the audience again, just in case people missed it the first time around?
Yeah. So today we announced we acquired Tasca Retail, and we're merging the companies, and we're very, very excited to welcome them. And they are a long-standing. They've been in the grocery retail space for quite some time, 20 years, replenishment system for center store.
Right. Yeah. Right. And tell me more about that. Like, how does it work specifically? Like, what is the special sauce that intrigued you guys to make this happen?
Very happy retail clients, many of them. That is one of the biggest parts. Their service is fantastic. They know retail extraordinarily well. I would say also they've got the best forecasting engine in the business, really. I mean, they're just known for getting replenishment right. So it's true, like computer-generated orders. We're not even having, like, we bypass the assisting, go right to just having the computer do it for you.
Wow.
And with accuracy, extreme accuracy, just-in-time inventory.
Yeah, and the reason we were excited to partner with Upshop for this show is because from my background in grocery, having run frozen food for a period of years and done many other things at Target as well, grocery operations are often very overlooked. And to do them well, to apply all these right technologies, you have to be thinking about what these guys are thinking about. But that's just one complement to what you guys have designed, right? There's a whole host of solutions that come into play here. I want to talk specifically about the e-commerce side of things, Steve, because you're helping to make e-commerce easier for grocers too. Yeah. How do you guys do that?
Yeah, so our e-commerce story started really a couple of years ago with the acquisition. So a company that I co-founded was ShopperKit.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. And so that was really in 2020. And prior to that, our two companies had common retailers and really saw some opportunities to start working together, in terms of what we can do around catering, made to order, things like that. But what we're ultimately trying to do, and what ShopperKit's always tried to do, and what we're continuing to do, and which is why it's so complementary to the overall Upshop solution, is really about empowering the retailers, right? So where retailers need to, and I think we're seeing more and more of this as well, where retailers know they need to have their own branded offering. They need to be able to own that. They need to be able to own the customer experience. They need to be able to own the relationship. They need their associates, their store associates, to represent their brand. And really, there's not a whole lot of opportunities or solutions out in the market that really allow the retailers to own that. And that's really what we do. So ShopperKit really is about enabling the retailers to own that experience and own their customer, own their data.
And talk to me, give me more specifics too. I want to double click into what you just said. Like, so what specifically are you helping them do day in and day out?
So what we like to refer to ourselves as really fulfillment orchestration.
Fulfillment orchestration. Okay.
Yeah. So we will effectively interface with any commerce solution that's out in the market.
Okay.
So we've got great partners, Mercatus, SAP, Instacart even.
Instacart, right.
Yeah. So we've got several partners and we will manage that order from when it's placed. And then we really enable the retailers to own everything within the 4 walls. So all of the order routing, the order management, the fulfillment, zone batch picking, all the last mile delivery services, micro fulfillment automation with our hub and spoke model. So being able to really manage complex fulfillment ecosystems. Those are the things that we do very well, and we put that power in the hands of the retailers so they can own that themselves versus having to outsource it, which is what I think we've seen a lot of over the past couple of years.
Right, and you're playing both sides of that, right? You're helping the retailer with it, you're helping the third-party delivery services with it. So basically, like in a nutshell, as soon as that order comes in, you guys are helping with the processing of that order for both sides of that equation.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, labor's been a talk of the town too, Shamus, here, and it's been very highly discussed already. How does this help in terms of the labor allocation in the store as well? Is that a factor here in terms of getting efficiencies?
Absolutely. So this is on the journey to getting e-commerce profitable for retailers. They've got to be able to utilize their labor in an effective way to go pick these orders. And what Shopper Kit allows them to do is look at pick rates, see how efficient they're being, look at store volume. We can forecast out too to look at like what we anticipate volume to be to staff to that volume. So we're even coming up with and launching very soon labor scheduling modules that will come and bolt onto Shopper Kit capabilities and our e-commerce pick. So you can see what you need to be putting in the store. Now, we think that there's probably a far less needed than what a lot of retailers are putting in the store right now. They just don't want to miss the order, but we need some data to back it up.
So you think they're overcompensating right now? You don't have the data yet, but that's your hypothesis.
That's the running hypothesis.
Probably makes sense, right? Yeah. Because they don't have the tools. I mean, so you're going to throw labor at this problem, especially during the pandemic, right?
And generally, we see too that I think retailers are typically pretty good at saying we know we need X number of associates on a given day, but they have no idea when during the day they need them, right? So it's the ebbs and the valleys. It's hard to kind of really understand and manage and schedule to that. But I'd also like to add too, one of the other things that we're seeing more of and even enabling ourselves is retailers are wanting to have options around labor, having some flexibility. Right. So with their own store associates being able to bring in and dial in supplemental labor when needed, and the traditional gig providers are out there and they're participating in that manner too, and that's something.
That's really interesting. That opens a whole new way to think about your labor and your staffing models too when you guys get into it.
Kind of hybrid mixed modes.
Very cool. Shamus, you're going to add something there?
I was just going to say that one step further, why this all gets really exciting with the connected store concept we've been talking about too is being able to utilize then too this labor that's going around picking maybe to do other things like check dates or like looking at other departments when maybe things slow down. It wasn't as busy of a day in deli or bakery or in the meat department as an example that they can go pick an order. And then that's when things get really, I think, exciting from a labor standpoint that you can bring the cost down quite a bit.
Or sliced fruit, check the out dates on the products in the dry section of the store, which is all part of your complementary solution that you've got going on. The last thing I want to ask you said something when I was talking to you last week. You talked about the perfect store walk. What are you envisioning there when you guys say that?
When you get a store walk, everybody's on their best behavior. So the management team's coming in,
tight,
and everything looks just like it should.
Everybody's puckered up.
It's all the shelves are stocked and everything's clean. It's
clean.
Never looks like that ever again.
It's immediately after gone. But no, it's it would be our aspiration to make that a possibility every day.
Okay.
And so if we could get out of the employees out of in the labor that's in the store, out of the weeds into certain things that they don't need to be involved with, like changing orders. So going right to computer generated orders, being more efficient with picking, doing these things. We see that path to a perfect store walk every day.
So that's your vision of where you guys ultimately want to take the total product, right? And you're the product guy.
Yes.
So how do you think about that?
Yeah. So the way I really kind of think about it, for me, it kind of breaks down to this idea of the right task for the right person at the right time, right? So over the years, there's been a lot of hype around AI, right? But a lot of times it doesn't go beyond just the hype,
right?
And so one of the things that I am very excited about, a use case for that AI is actually in driving prescriptive workflows that manifest themselves as effectively tasks that are assigned out to individuals that at that moment in time take them through a very descriptive workflow of what is the right thing for them to be doing, right? And so that's how we can start to tie in, you know, I'm cycle counting to place an order, to now I'm managing some curbside pickups, to now I'm actually doing some date checking and I've got some time left. So, you know, I'm going to go be dispatched to pick some orders.
Yeah, and all the while not having to do things like kitchen math in their heads, or like, you know, whip a pencil around on a piece of paper.
Been doing kitchen math. You probably kissed the guy who just left like 2 weeks ago, right? Because the turnover's high on these jobs too.
100%.
All right, so last question here. So you guys just made the acquisition today. Where's the product go next, Steve? Maybe that's for you. Where do you guys envision going next? What's going to happen the balance of 2022 and maybe into 2023? How do you keep improving this thing?
Yeah, so that's a great question.
Because your vision is lofty and rightly so, but where does it go next?
So what you're going to see over the course of this year, of course, is we're with the new Upshop branding. There's a new Upshop app that's going to be coming out later this week. Then what we're going to be seeing going into next year. So we've got a raft of enhancements that we're going to be rolling out, especially around our made to order and kitchen management capabilities. Cool. Really excited about what we're doing there. Really taking a hard grab or a hard go-to at marketplace aggregation, specifically around kind of those made to order, right? So thinking in the C-store space, right? Nobody, you know, how do you consolidate your Uber Eats and your DoorDash with your white label orders, right? How do you get them in a single fulfillment platform? Looking into next year, then we're really going to start pulling in really, obviously leveraging what we've just partnered with on iTask and bringing that solution within the Upshop platform, and that's going to be a big push as well. So.
Yeah, and the key point too that I want to highlight for the audience too, by way of the mobile application that you guys have and can install with all the retailers, you're tracking all of those different activities throughout this platform, which is what gives you that intelligence, which is so important. Shamus, last word here.
I just want to hero the store worker, and like that would be our ideal situation, is to make their day better and make it more fun. Like for me, the thing I'm like really excited about, gamification, like getting rewards and having that that
becomes part of this.
Yeah, that totally becomes part of this.
Yeah,
to
make
the
employee side of things.
To make it fun to come to work, learn your job, do it well.
Yep, that's great. All right, so for those watching or maybe watching this live, you guys are at Groceryshop. We're all at Groceryshop. You can see it behind us. If people want to learn more about Upshop, get in touch with you guys, what's the best way for them to do that at the show and then maybe back at home after the show's over?
We're at booth 723. So come see us. 723.
Is it set up? You guys done?
Well,
it better be.
Mike assures us.
Kidding, I know.
I heard it's hot and steamy in there. Yeah, I heard it's hot and steamy in there. 723. All right.
The bay door is open. It's warm here in Vegas.
Nice. And what about after the show? What's the best way for them to get in touch with you after the show?
Come out to our website, upshop.com. And there's a lot of different ways to interact, find content there. You can fill in a form. You can get scheduled up with an expert, and we'd love to talk to you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being with us today, Steve Paro, Shamus Hines. I'm going to ask Ann to come back over. She's going to take the mics from you guys, and we're going to close up the show, give our kind of recap on the day. But yeah, great talking to you guys. Have a great rest of the show. All right.
Okay.
All right. That was fun. I love talking to those guys.
I know.
It's so much fun. Those guys are so on it too in terms of like what they're trying to do.
For sure.
It's so needed. It's so needed. So what was your takeaways, Dan? What was the big ahas for you today?
Actually, I mean, I think the thing that was most surprising to me, or that stood out to me the most today, has to do with what Upshop is talking about. And that is how critical store operations are for any of these things that we're talking about, any of the technologies that we're seeing in the expo hall tomorrow that, you know, the new CEO of Whole Foods is talking about implementing. Everyone is concerned about how they get those operations down right, because it's kind of the linchpin to the success of any of the other programs. So that's been mine so far.
I think that's probably mine too. Like it was kind of funny. We were doing an interview with Steve Dennis for his podcast, him and Michael LeBlanc, and he asked us like, what was the biggest surprise coming out of the pandemic, or what do you think's fundamentally changed in retail?
Yeah.
And I think you're right. The answer is that how we staff our stores and expect our stores to operate has fundamentally changed.
Yes.
The gig economy has done that. The need for delivery has done that, and it's never coming back.
Right.
And so solutions like this, particularly like we just talked about with Upshop and many, many others, computer vision, AI are just going to help with that situation. And there's no end in sight, really. So, what else?
I mentioned the CEO of Whole Foods. That was who I was really excited to see. I mean, we've been talking quite a bit about, what's going to happen, how big of an impact Amazon's going to have on what the new vision of Whole Foods looks like. We didn't get to hear quite, it was a typical
But you had a good point. You caught something that was really interesting.
I think what I found was most surprising about what Jason Beckel had to say was, he talked a lot about the Amazon One, so the one palm scan for payment. He talked a lot about their stores that they're starting to test the Just Walk Out technology in, and I think it'll still be important for people to be able to shop the Whole Foods the way that they know and love. But I noticed a little twinkle in his eye, if I can say that, when he was talking about the Amazon One, which I love. So
I know. I love it too. And I think your point is great because it's like, it showed you that this is an Amazon pick.
Yes.
The way he was talking about tech, whether he's in on it or not.
Well, he's the operations guy.
He was an Amazon pick,
That's the other thing.
They're going to keep looking at this, which is fascinating. But the Whole Foods, like how we enlivened Whole Foods was a little light to me, quite honestly. But it was cool to hear the tech. So what are you excited about tomorrow?
Well, I'm on stage tomorrow.
Yes, you are.
And I'm going to be meeting with the Wall Street analysts. I know, hold your shock and awe. It's going to be crazy. But I'm actually really looking forward to it because I think it's going to be important for the grocers who are here, for the CPG companies that are here, for everyone attending to really understand how these companies are going to be evaluated based on the decisions that they make for future digital grocery investment. And so I want to hear from them, like what are their bets? What would their guidance be for the people who are in the audience?
What are they giving a premium to in their stock analysis?
Exactly. What do they think? And they research these companies, they read loads and loads of reports,
lots of spreadsheets,
lots of earnings calls, all the things. And so I think it'll be good to hear their take on really what people should be doing.
Without a doubt. All right. Well, I'm excited for that. I can't wait. You got to get a good night's sleep. You're bright and early tomorrow, like 8 o'clock, 8:30, something like that.
Yeah. What about you? What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to watching you too. I mean, definitely. Like that's going to be key. And then, they've always got a great set of keynotes as well here. And, the other part that I'm really excited about is the idea of speed.
Yeah.
It's come up a little bit. Like, how much speed do you really need? We got to see GoPuff juxtaposed against 7-Eleven.
As
and
well.
Foxtrot. And I don't know, listening to, I'm kind of like 7-Eleven's going to figure this out better, I think, in the long run than, say, GoPuff. The model seems really expensive. And we were talking to the guys from Choice Market afterwards. And, the point they make too is like, no matter how you slice it, instant delivery, 15-minute less delivery, is still a sliver of a small sliver. 80% of sales are going to happen in store. 20% e-commerce is what people are saying. That fast delivery is going to be a sliver of that 20%. So how you make that profitable is going to be really interesting. So I'm going to be paying attention to that tomorrow too.
Right. Yeah. There's lots more in store. Thank you again today to our sponsors, Upshop, Firework, and Upside. We will be back tomorrow morning after the morning sessions to give you a recap of everything that we heard. Once again, please send us a message. Let us know if you're here, swing on by, what you want us to be covering, what sessions are you interested in. I don't know. What else?
Yeah,
Chris is going to wear tomorrow?
I'm not going to be wearing a turtleneck, but I do have some nice digs that I got in Spain that I'm going to debut tomorrow. So for those that are interested, which is probably an absolute very, very low number, if a number at all, keep an eye out for that. But we're going to be tomorrow. We're going to be live streaming right in front of Upside's coffee cart. So cool spot in the actual exhibition hall too.
You think they'll let us make coffee?
I doubt it, Ann. Nobody lets me near anything that's mechanical.
Fair enough.
Particularly you, actually.
Fair enough.
You never let me near anything mechanical. But with that said, I think we should sign off here and hope everyone has a good night watching back east and in the central time zone. And